Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I want to do a makeup look inspired by the Maiden. In particular, this archetype card from the Kim Krans Archetype deck. I was looking back on my Instagram feed and I saw I had done a look inspired by this quite a while ago, but I was really captured by the tones I use, like these mix of pinks and golds, and I want to do a look similar to that, although different. And it's always fun to recreate a look you did previously with like new skills you have and a new understanding of color or your face or whatever it is. So anyway, I want to focus on that, maybe a bit of gold integrated, maybe a little bit of orange, but mostly this play of pinks, and just really playing with the archetype of the Maiden, which in general is about sort of innocence, a feeling of like spring, freshness, lushness, bit of romance. So yeah, that's the plan for today. Keep on watching if you want to see more. Okay, starting with blush, I already have brows and foundation on. I'm gonna use, look how cute this is. This is from Lunar Roots and it's the Ancestral Petals Rose Pigment Pot. I've worked with Lunar Roots in the past before and I'm gonna be doing some things with them in the future. They're a really cool brand, a little bit witchy, very divine, feminine, and all natural products. Make of that what you will. Everyone has different opinions on that. Anyway, beautiful, beautiful shade. I hadn't used it in a while. It kind of fell to the back of my makeup collection because it's so small. But I always liked this shade. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a very Katie Jane Hughes thing where I'm going to use a very small brush to apply this. So I'm going into the pigment, just diffusing it at the back of my hand. And with a small brush, you can just really be mindful and intentional about the focus of your blush placement. I kind of have a tendency to use a big brush and go all out, but sometimes it's nice to build it up from one place and move around from there. And of course, as you can imagine with this look, I'm thinking very blushy, but I love this shade. It's like a perfect deeper pink. And it really, really is so cool how the brand founder, Brooke, is able to create pigments out of nature. I mean, I guess everything comes from nature at the end of the day, but she fully does it, you know? Definitely check out her brand. This might have been limited edition, but she does have always new and cool products coming out. Okay, I'm gonna really focus it here, messily, just to make sure the pigment's really getting on there. And then I'm gonna take my foundation brush and use that to buff the whole thing into the skin. I think I put a touch of bronzer. I actually wasn't going to use bronzer, but I'm feeling like a healthy glow of color in general is what I'm going to be looking for today. So using the Vive Cream Bronzer, just a touch of it, just barely there, kind of slapping it on in that little bit of space where the blush hasn't gone. Maybe a little bit even there. Kind of thinking of looking very healthy as the Maiden. For anyone familiar with archetypes like this, should I do the other ones in the 3-part archetype, Maiden, Mother, Crone? Crone makeup would be really cool. Looking at how this card has this play of all kinds of like pinky, orangey tones, I'm going to use, instead of highlighter, just a touch of the Rare Beauty blush in Cheer. So I have that little bit of orange integrating the blush and the bronzer, and then it's going to give me a touch of glow as well. If you ever see little movements here, it's cats. The 2 cats moving around, that's where their food is. Not goblins in the shadows. I'm going to bust out a really old palette for this. I think I got this in a BoxyCharm or an Ipsy quite a while ago. It's the Venus 3 palette from Lime Crime. And it has these different pinks in it, which is cool. I'm going to start with a very, very pale pink. And that is what I'm going to lay over the whole lid as a base. Be pretty loose with this because it's a fairly pale shade, light shade. The first time I did a look inspired by this, I noticed I really brought the pink out, and I like doing that with a light shade these days. Like, it can be a technique with bronzer or something where you really integrate the shadow into your temple And when I was like learning makeup and getting really into it, I used to do that with really dark shades, like bringing it out. And that definitely has a time and a place for like an editorial or Chapel Rowan look, you know, but on an everyday basis, I usually reserve that for the lightest shades that can just really softly diffuse into the temple, but I don't generally do that anymore with like a darker shade. Just quickly before I go into more pinks, I'm gonna use this shade here from the Danessa Myricks palette. I just want to get that little bit of peach in it so I can like honor the card. Oh my god, that was darker than I thought. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna tap a bit of that excess off. Just a bit of the peach in the crease. Oh yeah, that's pretty. It looks really good with that pink. You're a pink pony girl. You dance at the club. I've had pink pony clubs stuck in my head for the past couple days. I went to bed with it, woke up with it. The first shade I laid down in this palette has like this little bit of like sparkle sheen in it that's actually got blue flakes in it, and it actually looks really cool. I don't think you'll see it on camera. It's only when you're like this close you can see this like iridescence in the eyeshadow, which is really cool. So now let's deepen up the pinks a little bit. I'm gonna go in with this shade here. This is more of a cool tone pink. So let's see how that looks. And I'm gonna focus that right here. It's almost giving a watercolor effect, just like this play of different tones on the eye. I'm going to bring some depth to the lash line with the shade Ecstasy right here. This is a pencil style brush, but with less of a fine tip and more of like a smudge tip. I can just get that depth without being super precise, like with a angled brush. And then with a angled brush, a really small one, I'm going to go in this darkest shade here and just gently get that extra depth right into the lash line rather than smudged out. I'm going to take this shade here that's almost a white, but like a baby pink, and put that in the inner corner. It's for a subtle brightening. Taking this pink to put on the lower lash line. And then I'm going to add a little bit of depth with that brown along the lower lash line too, just in the outer corner. Keeping everything kind of loose. It's very like watercolory in that way. It's like dipping into the little nuances of these pinks and oranges. Okay, now when it comes to shimmer, I'm a little bit torn because like in the Lime Crime palette, there's this really cool tone pink, but then I also have the Gargoyle palette in front of me and I could go for more of like a gold with it or like a multi-chrome. I feel like that's going to be overwhelming, that one. Gold. Sometimes I wish there was like a live poll and I could be like, guys, which one? Okay, I'm going to start with the pink from the Lime Crime palette first, just to make sure I'm not veering off too far from the really pink feel. And then maybe I'll add that extra snappy gold or something. So let's start with the pink. That's really pretty. It does have a duochrome effect, this one, in some ways. I'm just having fun on the stage in my heels. Okay, pretty. Ooh, maybe now I'll try that touch of gold. How about I put it on the lower lash line? Do I have regrets? Maybe. No. And then like a little sprinkling of it in the makeup look on the upper lash, on the upper lid. Let's pop a little bit of brightening in the waterline, but this is not a pure white. It's very subtle. This is the shade Ivory from Melt. Anyone have any recommendations for colored waterline pencils, I'd love to get a couple like colors, like a pale pink, a blue, a teal, you know, so I could have a little bit more fun with my watercolor, my waterline. It's kind of giving fairy vibes too. It's really pretty. I'm gonna pop off camera, do my lashes. Okay, let's do lips. I'm thinking sort of a deeper feeling on the lips, like a wilted rose. So I have this shade from Rituel de Fille Cryptic, and it really has that feeling to it. Gonna go a touch deeper with the lip line by using Universal Earth from Makeup Forever. And yeah, let's see how it turns out. Okay, now Cryptic. So it's a cool shade because you can build it up or wear it a bit lighter. It's really a perfect medium contrast shade. Now that everyone's obsessed with the idea of contrast. If you've seen it on your TikTok and Instagram, I like it. I like it a lot. Sometimes it's so funny. I'm just like sitting here alone in my house. Well, not alone. I have 3 animals with me, but like kind of talking to myself, but talking to you guys, but not in real time. So it's really just me talking to myself. I want to try this lip butter on top. This is from TYS Beauty. It's such a cool shade. It's like a dark, sparkly thing. Ooh. I really like that. And this is the finished makeup look. I really like it. I love this play of all these pink tones from the peachy, orangey shades, and then the cool pinks, the warm pinks, the dusty rose, deep pink. So here is the card for reference. The only thing I'm maybe missing is like fully leaning into the orange, but I don't really want to do that. I just really wanted to play with the lushness of what pink can offer, really. And yeah, I'm really liking this. These days, I've just been really interested in playing with color in a way that feels really wearable, and that I'm gonna want to go outside and go out in the world, go to the grocery store and feel really comfortable with. And this feels like that. I think pinks in general are really approachable and just a really fun shade to just play with all around. I really just felt like this was so easy to put together. It's just like pinks all blend, you know? I suppose that's the same with any shade really when you're playing with the cool and warm tones of it, but pink is just a little bit lighter, so it's easy to just really like whip around with different shades. So yeah, I think that's really it for today. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see crone and mother side of the 3-part archetype of the feminine. Some people like to say maiden, witch, crone. So yeah, whichever you prefer. Yeah, that's it for today. Toasty, let's take it away. Come on, buddy. He had a hard day yesterday. I gave him too much butter and he had a stomachache. Poor boy. Oh, he smells extra Cheeto-y today. Yeah. Thank you all for watching till the end. And until next time, may you all find yourselves a little bit of makeup magic, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, witches. We're gonna keep on dancing down at the Pink Pony Club. Pink Pony Club.